Missouri Senate Republicans have passed a bill that would keep Planned Parenthood from getting public money, including Medicaid. Most abortions are illegal in Missouri, and this bill prevents any associates of an abortion provider from getting public funds. Since Planned Parenthood clinics in other states do provide abortions, Missouri's Planned Parenthood would lose their funding. Joe McLean has more from both sides of the aisle.
I think it is symbolic. I think it says that we as Republicans, want to protect the life, and that we, consider infants in the womb actual life.
State Representative Wendy Hausman is a first-term Republican from St. Peters and voted in favor of the bill that would keep Planned Parenthood from receiving any public money, including from Medicaid. Hausman said it's about sending a message against abortion by withholding Missouri dollars from Planned Parenthood providers in other states.
Even though they can't do it in Missouri, they do it in other states. And so we don't want to be affiliated with that.
The cost of that message, though, would be the services that Planned Parenthood provides in Missouri. STI testing, cancer screenings, and wellness checks, just to name a few.
But we are especially under-resourced in rural areas, whether that's central Missouri, Joplin, Springfield, all of those parts of the state rely on Planned Parenthood as part of their safety net system.
I asked Hausman, are you concerned at all about the loss of services that Planned Parenthood currently provides in Missouri?
I think there's other places that you can get services, and I think that when we look at just one, that kind of monopolizes it, but we need other services to count on, not just one company.
Democrats staged an 11-hour filibuster in the Senate before this eventually passed after midnight. In the House, Democrats called the move a campaign year stunt by Republicans.
They've gone so far on abortion at this point when the Dobbs decision came down that they don't know what else to do. They don't know how to signal to their base that they are super pro-life. So all they can do now is stunts like this, like defunding Planned Parenthood.
This bill has now been passed by both the House and Senate, but because the Senate made some tweaks, it now goes back to the House for a final sign-off before going to Governor Parson. In Jefferson City, Joe McLean, KY3 News.